What if I tell you it have a woman in Trinidad who could peel off his skin and fly through the sky like fire? Well, she's a fireball. We in Trinidad call them Soucouyant or Soucouyant, right? However proper you want to say it or not. Yeah, that is what she is. So, as Mommy settled deeper in the chair, Coco breathing steam into the lamplight, her voice went low and musical. The room tightened around her words. She said, "Crick crack," and the response came. "Monkey break he back for a piece of pomerac." The twins responded, half excited, half afraid. Delia's eyes warmed. "No, this story isn't just any story. It happened to somebody I know. All your Auntie Janelle. She swear by it. The kind of swear that put a hush on the whole room. So listen good. Auntie Janelle was walking home late one night, later than she should have, because one laugh turned into two and three. And by the time she left she front yard, the moon was already high, a bright silver coin nailed in the sky without breeze. The road lay dry and pale. No cricket sang, even the pariah dog kept their teeth behind their lips. She had two ways home. The main road, with the sleepy parlor and the rum shop that never really closed. It's called Brick House now. Well, Brick House is the new lick now, right? Or the shortcut, past the old field, down behind the silk cotton trees, skirting along the abandoned house that everybody know about, but nobody don't talk about it, especially when the sun go down. I'm gonna tell you how she brave. She gonna take the shortcut First she brave. She slippers tap softly, then softer and softer until the dirt turn into cake. Fine dust. Kind that keeps secret. Now and again the scent of smoke rise from, drift from somebody burning something some way, cane trash or boiling down something they didn't want to, is not meant to be found, right? She pulled her bag closer under her arm and quickened her steps. At the foot of the silk cotton tree she paused. This thing now rise like a story all by itself. The buttress roots flared wide like church doors, So you don't trouble them kind of tree. Not in the day and definitely not in the night. So Janelle, she murmured like she grandmother teach you a greeting. Good night, good tree, excuse me passing. And she keep going. Then the house appear where it always did. Low, long, weathered. The house looked like the same gray like the road. The roof line sagging like somebody tired back. A single pane of glass still hanging, right? The rest of them hollow out, black. And them windows fall out long time, right? But everyone know this house had belonged to a midwife. Woman, she went strange in she last year. She started mixing bush medicine with things not meant for the living. When she died, the house just seemed like it keep breathing. People just avoid the house, and the house seemed glad for the privacy, right? Janelle would pass by with just a quick glance, if not for the light. Mako. A thin, stuttering glow pushed behind the boards. Not steady, a dull wash of like a lantern. Not the cold bite of a security bulb. The light was alive, breathing, wavering, as though it had a heartbeat. Now curiosity tugged at Janelle's sleeve. Mako. She tells herself it was probably a squatter warming his hands over a pan. She tells herself it was better to check and know than pass and wonder. Mako. That was clever enough thinking in the afternoon. It was a mistake in the dead of night. She tiptoed to the broken pane and leaned in. The house smelled wrong. Not like dust and mouse droppings, something you'll expect for a house that sit down there how long. Them thing, normal. Honest in the way. It's no secret to keeping. But the scent she get was a sharp sulfuric stink, like when you scratch matches too long. Like the bottom of an old iron pot when you leave the fire hot with nothing in it. The air jittered with heat. Then Janelle saw her. At first it was only a back bowed over a 3-stone fire, a small hunched shape, a shawl tied old woman outlined a way a child would draw. Right? Dry elbows, a thin neck, skin like paper, creased and folded 100 times. But the fire under the pot didn't behave right. The flames licked but not waver, as if the breeze had no permission there. The pot didn't boil so much as tremble, and with every tremble, the light in the room flared and softened, flared and softened. The old woman lifted a ladle. A thread of something glowed as it fell back into the pot. Janelle's body screamed. She body screamed run, but she feet would not obey. The woman turned, not far, not even fully, but just enough that Janelle could see the profile. The face was soft with old age softness, her cheeks notched with time. But the eyes were wrong. They were wet and bright like an animal and too still. No little darting, no flicker, watching and not watching, right? Like a thing that only pretend to be a woman. The woman set down the ladle. She reached for the knot at her throat and untied the shawl. Bones like sticks, hand thin and like dry poi leaves. She pushed the sleeves to her elbows, flexed her fingers and began. She pinched the skin by the collarbone like you would catch the edge of her blouse gently and matter-of-factly, and she pulled down. Gently and matter-of-factly, and she pulled. A pale seam lifted. She worked the seam with her fingertips. The sound it made, not tearing, it was wet and quiet like a suction bandage easing away. Janelle clapped both palms over her mouth. The old woman peeled her skin the way you peel a mango when you refuse to waste any flesh. Careful, patient, tracing around the wrists, under the arms, down the flanks, slipping past the knees. The form underneath shone red, not with blood, but with heat. Veins of light ran like rivers. She folded the discarded skin, neat, laid it in a mortar in the corner and dusted it, almost tenderly, with ash from a calabash. Through the window, Janelle heard the words, thin and sewing, thin as sewing thread, quick and reedy, if possible, through the holes of a flute. Not a prayer, not a song, something older than both. When the last bit of skin slid free, the woman no longer looked like a woman. The shape that remained was slick and ember bright, the edges hazed with heat. The room grew hotter. The air pressed heavily into Janelle's throat. The thing bent its head, if that glowing knob could be called a head, with a sound like a breath being drawn from the bottom of a cold pit. It gathered itself, then it erupted, whoomph, into a ball of fire, the size of a breadfruit, maybe a little bigger, burning red-orange with a quick core of blue. The light struck Janelle in the eyes like an open oven. She flinched and stumbled back from the window. The boot heel slid in the dust like the shoe she had on. Kinda it slide, and she shoulder hit the cotton tree buttress with a dull thud. Boom! The ball of fire hung like a heartbeat in the air, listening, and then turned. It see Janelle. Janelle take off running. She ran with the foolish run as somebody who in decide which part they going to run. She arms windmilling like it could carry she faster. She trying to breathe and catch she breath at the same time. The road lie flat and bright under the moon. Every stone was a threat, because guess what? Anytime you step... Listen, you ever step on a Lego? Alright. Behind her came the hiss of flame, cutting the air. A low, hungry sound. The smell, not of smoke, but of metal heating, iron, like turning on an anvil, and a skillet leave just too long. The dog barked once, and then thought better. As soon as he opened his mouth the back and he see the fireball, he swallowed her back, yes? The shutter bang and Janelle Brett tore her chest. She sprinted past the parlor, past the pothole that always takes she slipper's heel, past the big mango tree with fruit too high for any but the boldest boys to go and catch. The fireball dipped, it skimmed her shoulder. The heat lifted the hairs at the back of her neck and she screamed properly. Then not a small scream, not a ladylike squeak, but a market cry full of every grandmother warning that she ever ignored. You hear she bawl, Mommy! She grandmother Miss Patsy here. They was looking out for she anyway, because where Janelle could have be this time of night. They figure nothing more than kiki and kia with she friend, and she forget what time it is. So they waiting for she. So they hear when she scream. You know, in this, it was a small wooden house. The front steps worn, you know, smooth by 3 generations of feet, a blue lamp hanging by a nail. By the time Janelle bust through the gate, the lamp already swinging. Let me show you. And Ma Patsy was on the steps with her enamel cup of salt in one hand and a tiny Bible in the other. She didn't ask what, who, why. She did not look to reassure. She saw and she moved. Inside, girl, she snapped. But she herself didn't step inside. And don't look back. Janelle dived through the door and collapsed behind the table with tin, you know, the tin plastic tablecloth from back in the day. I never remember that. She chest was hot, right? And sharp, because remember, she running all that way like she turned into Jackie join her Kirsty, so she breathing, you know, can't catch she breath. Outside the air swell, the way the ocean would swell before a wave. The fireball, it hovered around the edge of the yard. It bobbed once, it bobbed twice, like it was sniffing. Ma Patsy planted she foot on them, right? She say not crossing this line, and she come across the rim of the cup and flung a white arc of salt across the front steps, across the door, across the bottom of the window, right? She just started to throw salt all over. With each throw, she's like, she talk a language, not really English, not Creole either, but tight, a low murmur, prayer learned in time when people knew the names of small spirits and how to mind them. Psalm 91, Father, watchman by night, cover this house, cover this child, cover this yard. She start. The fireball dip again, angry. It couldn't cross the salt, but it could burn the air and make the heart weaker and weaker until a person open the door themselves. Yeah, but my Patsy ain't afraid of she. Come now, Duppy, come if you're bad. Along the veranda rail, charring the dry wood to a curl. Light split under the door like water does when somebody wash the steps with too much water and the hinges creak, right? So, you know, when it had the step outside wet and any light cast on it, how you see it, you know, split up when how it coming in under the door. Granny, Janelle sob. Hold your head, child. My Patsy spoke without. Hold your head, child. My Patsy spoke without turning. Bring me pepper. Janelle scrambled to the kitchen shelf, hand trembling, knocking 3 tins onto the floor before she found the jar she knew by heart. Crushed pepper her uncle bought from Maruga. Red as a warning, she thrust it into Ma Patsy palms. You know the next part? The old woman eyes did not leave the door. Where skin does stay. The answer came to Janelle from the bottom of her blood. The mortar. Always a mortar or a cool dark bucket, a place to keep it safe, to keep it wet, if you could find it before dawn. Ma Patsy broke a clean handful of salt into the pepper and stirred with her finger and breathed into the mix. Hold the light, she took the blue lamp from its nail and thrust into Janelle's hand. Don't let it go out. If it go out, you hold your breath and pray. Granny, you can't. Hush! The old woman's mouth pulled into a thin line that made Janelle see the woman she had been 30 years before. Walking miles in rain light to bring babies safely, binding bellies with white cloths, knowing which leaves to boil and which names to call and which never to speak. I go in, I go come back. She stepped off the veranda. The salt line fizzled where her heel crossed it, and then sealed again behind her. The fireball swung to face her ravenous. It dropped low, then leaped. Humming like a hive split open, Ma Patsy flung a pinch of salt in its path. The ball recoiled with a high thin sound that was almost a cry. "Follow me then," she hissed. "Follow me if you're brave." She did not run, she walked steady, the way you walk when a stray dog decides you're either prey or master. The fireball followed, snapping little thongs of heat around her headscarf. Too near, too near. She walked the short road the way she walked it 1,000 times, except now the shadows watched back. Past the mango tree, past the parlor, past the corner where old Mr. Etienne used to play dominoes and cuss the double six. Into the field, into the place where cane grew and then went wild, then lay down and rose again in another kind of bush. The silk cotton tree hoisted itself into view like a dark tide. The house sat waiting. The glow dimmed because its fire had flown, but the heat still lived in the walls as if the boards had learned to breathe. Ma Patsy stepped across the threshold like a woman entering church. The mortar crouched in the corner like a guilty dog. Inside lay the skin, neatly folded, every crease careful. Eyelids closed as if sleeping. She worked quick. Peppers and salt, pack it in. The neck first, all around the opening where the skin would try to slip back over the glowing thing before cock crow. Then the wrist, each finger tube salted till the line of it shivered and took the shape of pain. Ankles, the thin behind the knees, a pinch into the navel, another at the lip line. "You will not take life here tonight," she whispered. "Not mine and not hers." Behind the fireball struck the doorway and cried. Truly cried this time, a thin high wail that wasn't light anymore but grief and rage together. It rolled once, twice, like a child who cannot pass a gate, then squeezed sideways through a split board with a rattling hiss. Janelle clung the lamp hard enough to hurt. The flame trembled, then steadied, then trembled again. The thing came in. Up close it wasn't round at all. Round was just the shape the heat made. Inside the light there was a knot and a twist and a core that wanted. It bobbed twice in the air, searching, then went straight to the corner. It knew exactly where the skin lay. It dropped, fast, eager, as if it could dive back into the shape of a woman in a single gulp. But where the skin had been soft, it was now salt and pepper and burn. The thing hit the salted opening and screamed. It jerked back, then tried again and again, each time meeting the sting and pain that was not pain as a human would know it, but a different law. You may not wear what you would harm. It raged like wind in a bottle, in a glass bottle, in bottle glass. Circled, guarded itself and tried to rush the door, but there was salt there. Thin as a finger line, it couldn't pass. It spun, it struck the window and glanced off, reeled into the corner and wreathed, a hot nut breathing, right? The first faint bird call slipped out of the dark, thin as a needle through cloth. "Cock soon crow," Ma Patsy said, almost gently now. "You're out of time." The fireball went suddenly still. It dipped once into the salted skin as if pleading. When it lifted, a sound came that made even the silk cotton tree leaves tremble. Soft and desperate, almost human. Kin, you now know me? Right? The lamp, because now it begging its skin like, "Skin, me and you going long time, what, you don't know me? Skin, you don't know me?" The lamp in Janelle's hand guttered and steadied and guttered and steadied as if it too couldn't stand to listen. "Go," Ma Patsy whispered to the thing, not unkind. "Go where you belong, morning taking you." Beyond the field, a rooster found its voice. The call cut clean through the blue edge of the night. Then another answered, and another. Dawn, quick and sure, put its hand to the world and pushed. Pushing the morning light. The fireball flared, furious and afraid together. It seemed to rise taller and stretched thinner, then burst outward, not like an explosion, but like a coal collapsing to ash. Light went from red to orange to a sullen, smoky glow. The last of it sighed upward and vanished through the broken slat, leaving only a scorched stripe on the wood and a smell like iron quenched in water. Silence moved in. Janelle realized she was crying. Ma Patsy wrapped the salted skin in a crocus bag and tied it with twine. Face set. We go burn this with green wood, she said, and later scatter the ashes where river don't run, no dog don't dig. And we go mop this floor with blue and bush and say Psalm 91 till we know it by we bones. She turned to Janelle, Tom brushing tears from she face. And you, no more walking alone at night. Respect what you don't see. Keep salt by the door. When you're passing a big tree, say good night and pass quick. When you hear your name in the dark, don't answer. Janelle nodded. She would tell the story, she would swear it, and each time she told it, she would remember the heat at her back, and the lamp guttering, and the voice mournful and small, begging its own skin to know it. Some things are true even when you don't want them to be. Mommy's voice thinned and softened. So that is why old people keep salt near the door, why some houses have a line you don't see until you know to look, why lamps get trimmed with care at dusk, why you don't accept night as a place for play. Auntie Janelle learned, and she lived to tell it. Not everybody does. Mommy clapped her hands lightly, and she said, Crick Crack, monkey break he back for a piece of pomerac. The boys chimed in, breathing, catching eyes wide. Mommy smiled, but there was a shadow at the edge of it. The wire bent, and my story ends. Good night, their mom said softly. The twins went to bed, now their imagination running wild. As they drifted off to sleep, Adonis whispered, Tomorrow we'll find out what secrets this place keeps. Maybe we'll see a spirit or two. Achilles responded in a drifting off whisper, I don't want to see no real spirit. Because as much as he loved the stories, Achilles was afraid of the dark and whatever might be hiding in it. Parent note. If your child asks about Soucouyant, you can explain to them she's a spirit from Trinidadian folklore who sheds her skin at night to roam the land. Her story teaches the importance of caution and respecting the unknown. Thank you guys. Be blessed. Stay amazing. Look for the next one.